Hi, welcome to the Quick Look podcast. Today, we'll be taking a quick look at how stratigraphy is used in archaeology. Stratigraphy is the layers of things in the ground. Each layer is called a strata. In general, the further below the ground a strata is, the older it is. This is because of the law of superposition. The law of superposition states that lower layers are older than upper layers unless the sequence has been overturned. That interference or overturning could be natural, like a river carrying dirt from one strata from, let's say, 1,000,000 years ago to go cover another strata from 10,000 years ago. But the interference or overturning could also be unnatural. For example, a man-made bunker is not older than the dirt above it. One of the uses for stratigraphy in archaeology is for relative dating. Relative dating, although frowned upon in most of the world, is widely accepted by archaeologists. Okay, sorry. In archaeology, relative dating refers to defining something as older than blank or newer than blank. For example, if a small wooden structure was discovered under a cobble road, it would be assumed by both the law of superposition and by relative dating that the wooden structure was older than the road. Let's say Roman records show the road being built in 200 CE. Then relative dating would say that the structure must be from before 200 CE. This is a relative date as opposed to a definitive date. In most cases, stratigraphy gives relative dating, and different archaeological methods like carbon dating, dendrochronology, and thermoluminescence are used for absolute dating, which gives a more specific date. Now I'll talk about an example of how stratigraphy might be seen in an archaeological site. This image is actually the same one my professor used when I was taking my Fundamentals of Archaeology class. So here's the image. Now, at the very bottom of the screen, you see natural subsoil. So this is the layer from before human interaction. This image has a lot of human interaction. This is maybe the kind of thing you would find in a city as opposed to out in the countryside because it is so busy with things from so many historical periods. So you have the Iron Age ditch, post hole, and then covering it is soil, which has been dated to what is considered the Iron Age. The soil could have been dated using things like carbon dating or other things in order to give it that Iron Age date, as opposed to saying that it's older than this and younger than this, which is what stratigraphy can do all on its own. Now above it is a Roman leveling dump. They would have done the same thing. The Roman period is from 500 BCE to 300 AD, or sorry, 300 CE. So anything from there, you can see a Roman wall above it, and then also a Roman floor, the collapsed part of the Roman building here, but then also there's this Roman road, and it looks like the Roman road is right here. So it can be difficult to tell which is older, the Roman road or the Roman building, and actually this is one thing we discussed a lot in our archaeology class. And honestly, I don't remember what the answer was, but just to prove a point that I mentioned earlier about how just because it's above something else doesn't make it older, this medieval pit extends all the way from under this medieval floor all the way down into the Roman leveling dump. So something like this Saxon clay floor, which is clear in the image which one that is, that's this. The medieval pit goes way below that, even though the Saxon floor is actually older and probably extended right across like this, except the medieval pit went all the way through it when the medieval people were doing their thing. You can also see this medieval wall that would have extended up, but it collapsed, got covered by, presumably that's some kind of soil. I don't suspect that it's a massive air pocket. Then there's 18th century cobbles right here, so probably a road maybe. Could have been something else, but a road seems likely, a nice cobble road. But then that has since been covered by this modern topsoil. And then there's a 19th century wall, which looks to still be fine, still be in working order. And then you can just see the foundation there. And so give it 500 more years, maybe this wall will have collapsed like the Roman wall and the medieval wall before it, and it'll get covered in a fresh layer of soil, and then this will say internet age soil, or whatever age they're going to call us, and then above it it will say modern topsoil. It'll say ruins of internet age wall. One of the interesting things is that it can be difficult to date this. Like, we now would know this is the 18th century, but 700 years from now, if they look at it, they might not be able to distinguish it. Now, that would be just from looking at it, because of course people might test it. If they tested it for trace amounts of, probably not carbon, because I'm going to guess that that's brick. I don't think you can carbon date brick. You can only carbon date things that have been alive. But anyway, it can be difficult without actual testing to tell. But this is just a loose image. A lot of this talks mostly about, or shows mostly about, the vertical levels. Strata also involves horizontal levels, but I won't be getting into that. This is just the quick look, after all. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions about stratification or topics you want me to cover, leave a comment below.